Good morning, everybody. This is Lutz Hübner speaking from the Cluster Transport, Mobility and Logistics in Berlin and Brandenburg. Me together with my colleague Amélie Aspero from ETRANS in France, we are moderating this new ERCI webinar on innovations in condition-based monitoring of rolling stock. First, I will give you a very short introduction on ERCI. That's the European Railway Clusters Initiative, founded in 2010 and being a legal entity since 2022. ERCI is managed by 18 nationally, regionally focused railway, mobility and logistics clusters covering 17 European countries. And it represents over 3,600 enterprises. The majority of them are small, medium-sized enterprises, as well as universities, research institutions, incubators, accelerators, etc. Yeah, what is our service? It's all about bringing customers, suppliers, and supply chain opportunities together. That is the headline, mainly supporting SMEs in partner matchmaking and finding new market opportunities, enhancing their visibility on the international level, discussing innovative topics like cybersecurity, multimodal and logistics, green and sustainable mobility, providing networking opportunities like this webinar, workshops, networking events, fairs, and business trips. And our highlight will be the ERCI Innovation Awards, the yearly event. I will say some more words by the end of the webinar about this and about some upcoming opportunities. I will only highlight for this day, for this moment, the current activity of the Multimodal and Logistics Task Force, which is dealing also on military mobility. The first meeting took place on this topic and by end of February in La Spezia in Italy. Many other activities will follow soon. Yeah, you can contact ERCI for sure. You can visit our website, our LinkedIn channel, and you can write us an email. So, taking over to the first presentation, and I will hand over first to Amélie to introduce the first speaker.
Good morning, everybody. I am Amélie Aspero from Attensys, a French competitiveness cluster in the field of mobilities, and I'm in charge of all the topics dealing with Europe. I'm very happy to have today on board the company Touch Sensity, which is Attensys member. So I'm going to say some words about the company. Touch Sensity offers an innovative and patented solution combining structural health monitoring and condition-based maintenance. This cutting-edge technology makes materials communicative, capable of detecting, monitoring, and assessing mechanical stress and damage. It provides continuous, accurate monitoring of the structural condition of materials throughout their service life, helping to improve their reliability, safety, and durability. The presentation today is going to be done by Mehdi El Hafed. Mehdi is co-founder and CEO of Touch Sensity. He is in charge of the financial and commercial management. Before, he was commercial leader and engineering agency director for 5 years for a large company. Regarding his background, he has an engineering degree from the Polytechnic Institute of Bordeaux in France. And he also has a master's degree in project management that he obtained in Canada. Mehdi, thanks a lot for being here today. I'm very happy to give you the floor.
Thank you. So I will share my screen. And there we go. So you see my screen. So hello everyone, I'm Mehdi El Hafed, co-founder and CEO of Touch Sensity, and I'm going to introduce you Touch Sensity and our work on condition maintenance in the railway sector. So Touch Sensity is a startup created in 2019 by Anna Pugac and myself. Anna developed the basics of the solution during her study and free time, and it was our meeting that led us to create Touch Sensity. General engineer, I quickly moved into sales and structure management for different French companies. Throughout the development of Touch Sensity, we were joined by Laetitia Laforgue, business developer in charge of the railway and automotive sector, and by 3 technical managers. Today, Touch Sensity has a team of nearly 15 people dedicated to improving maintenance in the broad field of mobility. Touch Sensity ID began in 2013, but it was in 2019 that we officially launched after winning the Medispace competition organized by Airbus. In 2020, we secured our first contract with Ariane Group, marking our entry into the defense and aerospace sector. The following year, we expanded into the automotive and railway industry, earning several prestigious awards, including the ADF Pulse, the JEC Forum Dach in Germany, and the iLab, one of the France's most prestigious deep tech competition. By 2023, our growth accelerated with nearly 25 clients and multiple international accolades. We were honored at CAMX and received the Best Sensor Award and triumphed at the TechCrunch Battlefield in California. In Europe, we also won the Safran H2 and Hello Tomorrow competition, further cementing our global presence. To date, Touch Sensity has worked with over 25 manufacturers in the aeronautical, railway, and automotive mobility sector. We also have several customers in the space, defense, and naval sector. We have carried out numerous studies and are currently deploying 5 different projects on the automotive, railway, and aeronautic market. Finally, we have won over 22 awards in Europe, Asia, and USA. What is structural health monitoring? So, structural health monitoring, it's hard to say because it's a multidisciplinary approach, but what we can agree is on the SHM is an approach that brings together all the method, technique, technology, and discipline whose aim to access the integrity, health, and durability of structure to detect and predict their failure, and thus extend their lifetime. Today, manufacturers are faced with the challenge of maintaining and monitoring the health of their parts, and current solutions are limited, as they require the equipment to be immobilized, experts to be called in, and maintenance to be scheduled, or the part to be extracted for analysis. The consequences of this are significant in terms of time consumption, increased downtime, raw material costs, and above all, financial loss. It is therefore clear that the condition-based maintenance is important to optimize industrial process, reduce maintenance cycle time, cost, device downtime, and material scrap. This market growing with the size of 2.2 billion in 2022 and will reach 5 billion in 2028 with annual growth of 50%. But very well, but how do we at Touch Sensity contribute to the development of structural health monitoring? We have developed a technology that can capture comprehensive data on pressure, bending, and damage occurring on a structure. We also generate a 2D and 3D cartography and perform precise physical measurement, such as force characterization, intensity analysis, and crack size detection. What sets our innovation apart? Our solution is minimally invasive and preserves the material's properties. It captures the entire surface and volume, ensuring no blind spot. It can detect both reversible and irreversible events and seamlessly adapt to all shape and topology. This technology operates through an onboard system connected to the periphery of the part and continuously emitting and capturing signal for analysis. Depending on the size of the topology of the part, the system connects via 4 to 32 contact points. It's designed to adapt to any shape, size, or structure while using only a low current from few milliamps to 512 volts. So this embedded system sends a signal through the material and recover it. And we study the difference between both signals to have a 2D and 3D reconstruction of the material. And once pre-analyzed, the signal can trigger onboard alerts such as visual or audible warning, or be transmitted to a monitor system for further analysis and control. This allows real-time detection of impact and damage, enable fleet-wide tracking, and facilitate continuously health monitoring of specific components throughout their use. Additionally, the system is fully mobile, giving technicians direct access to critical information on-site or remotely. Developed over 30 years, this groundbreaking technology is backed by nearly 10 patents. This solution has been developed to meet the need of conditionate-based maintenance. Unlike fiber optic, this solution is easy to install, simple to use, and easy to replace. As previously explained, our solution relies on an initial reference state, which is continuously or on-demand compared with the monitor part. So we connect the system to the part. We send a signal and have an initial status. This initial status can be set up at any time and take -2 seconds to obtain. We use this initial status as a reference, and in real time or on demand, we make a second scan, and this second scan is compared directly to the initial status. By comparing both scans, we can monitor a lot of different things from the material, and it's help us to generate a detailed cartography, enabling real-time tracking for any event or change occurring with the structure. So we can monitor with this solution damage caused by impact, scratch, cracks, for example. We can detect, have localization, damage sizing. We can also detect material traction like bending and compression. So we have a visualization of the internal state of the material under stress with level of alteration, distinction between reversible and irreversible event. We can detect material fatigue monitoring. With damage prediction, we can make maintenance predictive maintenance with this solution. We can monitor during material manufacturing to detect residual deformation during wrapping on baking. We can detect composite heating and thermal degradation, detection, localization, and damage sizing. We can also detect composite quality bending and oxidation monitoring. With this solution, we have access to several levels of analysis, from a sample on-off to a 2D and 3D modeling. So the first level, the on-off, helps us to have identification of the presence of an event with the option of setting a threshold and counting event. You can see on the graphic on the screen. The second level is localization by zone. So we define zone that will detect on-off independently. Zone size can be configurable, and the number of zones can be chosen by the client itself. The third level is 2D and 3D cartography. In this case, we make a mapping generation with damage and deformation representation with 1 millimeter precision. So our solution can be integrated at every stage of product lifetime, from its creation to its end of life. The collected data enable continuously comparison, ensuring better traceability and allowing the implementation of a unique digital passport for each component. We start during the manufacturing by reducing the raw material, deepen knowledge, make some visualization of residual deformation during different kind of process. During test bench to make inspection after part production, and also instrumented test bench to obtain more information. During operation to reduce maintenance costs, to optimize business, and to increase the safety and security of structure. And during repair to make part check and scan, to have a prognostic health management and monitor and predict remaining service life before failure. But how can a monitoring solution be used on the railway sector? Our solution will meet a number of challenges. To go into more detail, I'm not going to present a few use cases, but First, the objective for the railway sector is to reduce maintenance costs, reduce the number of interventions, reduce maintenance operation time, and optimize resources like team, equipment, replacement parts, schedule, etc. But also optimize activity by reducing breakdown, reducing unplanned downtime, and increase train availability. Also reduce maintenance worker drudgery, enhance train safety and security, extend train part life service life by reducing part replacement costs, make prognostic health management to predict remaining life and operating time, deepen aging part and train expertise, and fuel and energy saving. So this solution will give you security, safety, better economic and competitivity, but also will bring you to a societal and environmental objective. So here are some few use cases. For example, cracks detection and monitoring on bougie. So an operator checks the train at regular time to monitor the emergence and the propagation of cracks on bougie or on every kind of part. Non-critical cracks do not prevent the train to be operated, but must be monitoring regularly. So currently, what we do is schedule maintenance. But with Touch Sensity, we integrate the Sensity Tech solution on the crackhead or the sensitive area. And we detect cracks emergence and monitor their propagation and warn when it's become critical for parts. We send this information in real time or directly on demand when you plug a mobile device. It's a predictive maintenance in real time or on demand. You can see on the left of the slide an example of cracks. So we put the solution on the part and we can detect cracks. You can see different kind of representation, the real-time detection with the graphic, and localization and characterization with the 2D mapping. Another example is insert assessment. Visual inspection is made by an operator to access cracks around each train insert. So in this case, you will schedule a maintenance. And they cannot make a distinction between cracks from the paint and those from the material itself. So not always relevant repair because you can't make any differentiation. With the solution from Touch Sensity, we can have a real-time monitoring of the cracks, send alert when any cracks is detected, differentiate paint cracks and materials cracks, and repair only when necessary. So it's a targeted, condition-based maintenance. You can see here two inserts from different kind of train. It's a metal insert inside a fiber optic composite. Also, stem and body shell monitoring. So the train nose maintenance is made by visual inspection regularly, and the train body shell maintenance requires operator to extract each part one after the other from its wall. So it's a scheduled maintenance, tedious and expensive. With our solution, a real-time monitoring on all cracks, delamination and fiber break, we can have a global damage health state of the part, more detailed and accurate information with the alteration relative intensity mapping, and worker drudgery reduce. It's a predictive maintenance in real time or on demand. You can see on the left different example with real-time detection graphic and 2D reconstruction of localization and characterization of different kind of impact, for example. But also we talk a lot about damage, cracks on different kind of parts, but if we think about the future of train, we can talk also about the hydrogen tank monitoring. Because this part can be very difficult to monitor because tank resistance capacity and margin are oversized currently to be sure that there is no damage. And we use different kind of technology that require to reduce tank volume and are fragile or need to put a sensor matrix to entirely monitor the tank inside the tank. Through this inconvenient or current technology, there is no robust monitoring system on tank to alert of a potential leak. So it's very expensive, not relevant, and tank security not included. With our solution, we can connect directly to the tank and monitor the tank in real time to detect and be informed whenever there is any cracks, scratch, leak appearing on the structure, impact, or deformation. It will increase the security and the safety, reduce design safety margin, predict remaining life, and tank risks on new vehicle. It's a robust monitoring system for tank security and safety. You can see here an example. It's a real product, a real prototype on the hydrogen tank. We made it to a car. Another example is fastener assemblment, because fasteners are currently oversized during the assembly and the tightness inspection is not accurate and could be fragile with the current technology used, if the structural security is not optimized. With our solution, we can certify the correct pretensioning of the fastener, with a mobile and portative tool, accurate tightness inspection, and quick and targeted inspection, and increased fastener service life for time efficient, of course. So it's a maintenance service and tool directly using by our customers. So finally, as you can see from this example, the solution developed by Touch Sensity contribute to the development of structural health monitoring in the highway sector. We can put the technology on different kind of part, and this solution is helping to develop the tomorrow smart train with smart tanks, with smart battery casing, with train body shell sensitive, with smart train nose, for example, making every insert sensitive, detect every deformation or oxidation on the pantograph, also detect cracks on the bougie, but detect deformation on the damper. So it's now possible to connect and monitor numerous train parts from the nose to the bougie, including tank, battery, etc., etc. With the monitoring solution from Touch Sensity, we can adapt all you need and all your part to be sensitive with different monitoring features like warning light, so visual indicator when a crack, scratch, leak become critical, or operator intervention only when necessary, and saving time on team maintenance operation as well as raw material. But also a continuously monitoring system for quick scan with binary information, rapid decision making, and reduce dismantling operation. It can be a simple mobile or a portative system with a scan with more detailed information on cracks or leak propagation and critically. Reactive intensity or alteration mapping, faster, more targeted maintenance operation. With a complete mobile or an portative system, with scan providing history and health log with cloud, like history of damaged part, information on their frequency, history of repair part. So what we need to remember today is the structural health monitoring and the condition-based maintenance is something important for the mobility and especially the railway market. And if you want to be part of the innovation of the structural health monitoring on train, I'm here to listen to you and discuss about all you need. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I guess that Amelie will moderate the Q&A session, and I will switch share the screen with the slide, and I just formulating an own question, but you can already start.
Thanks, Lutz. Thanks a lot, Mehdi, for this great presentation. So I see now that we have a second question coming, but at first we have one. We are talking about the rolling stock But regarding Europe roadmap on transport sustainability, for example, hydrogen, would your technology also address this kind of trains components?
Of course, our solution can be adapted to all parts of the train, including the hydrogen tank. We are already working with a number of numerous players in the automotive and aeronautical market, and we have no doubt that a solution for monitoring the health of the train hydrogen tank will meet a very important need.
Okay, thank you. Another question, how many sensors do you need to equip a usual passenger train? How does it cost and what are the financial advantages for the operator?
For example, I will take a use case. It will be easier for you to understand. We are currently working with a French company on detecting cracks on the bougie, and we use only one system for one bougie. How does it cost? For this kind of solution, it's a license. So we discuss together with the license, with services and the software and the hardware. We send you all the equipment and we help your operator to be autonomous on putting the technology on the train. And the license depends on the cost and the number of zones we want to be sensitive. The starting price for one hydrogen tank, for example, is 90 euros. And the most expensive is for space rockets, so maybe it's not the subject currently. And for the financial advantage for an operator, it's simple. How do you control bougie cracks currently? You stop the train, you go underneath the train and you make visual inspection and visual control. Of course, you know that there is cracks in this part of the bougie, but you need to control it directly. With our solution, just you plug the system to the train with one cable, simple cable, and you obtain all the data from all the zones you want to be sensitive with information about the crack, the propagation of the cracks, the traceability, all the repair and inspection you made before in this train. And all of that you will obtain information in only 2 seconds. So it will be faster, it will decrease costs, of course, it will be easier for you operator to obtain information. You will have traceability, and of course, visual inspection is not perfect. Sometimes there is mistakes, sometimes it depends on the operator itself. With our solution, it will be every time the same monitoring system that help you to track every damage, cracks, deformation on your different parts.
Perfectly clear, thank you. Another question, can the data be imported to another system?
Yeah, of course. Most often we send the data on the digital hub from our client. We can also connect all kind of sensor to our solution and send all the data directly. And we have different software, but we can also translate data on the as you want to another system. It's not a problem, and we can define that during the project.
Okay. What are the power requirements? I'm thinking about freight wagons that don't have power.
If you don't have powers, we can use a battery system. In this case, it will be maybe more difficult to have a real-time measurement because a real-time measurement will use a lot of power. Of course, depend on the frequency of the measurement. Some of our clients want a measurement each second for defense use case, of course. Other clients want a monitoring every month, or in this case, using power battery. Using battery, it's a easy use case, and will be in this case just install a battery and that's all.
Okay. Can your system also detect failures of rail infrastructure of the rail wheel interface?
Yeah, we have a solution to detect failure directly on the rail infrastructure. We are currently working on this solution, so I will not explain the idea here because we don't have any NDA. But if you are interested on this use case, contact me directly. For your information, we have a potential solution that help us to scan all the rail infrastructure from a country and detect in real time. It's not perfect real time. It's each day, for example, to detect if there is any damage on the rail infrastructure on the country.
Okay, so if some people want to speak with you after the webinar, don't worry, we will give you the contact details of Mehdi.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have another question.
Yeah, there is another one. Please read it directly from the chat because I'm too slow to.
Yeah.
Can the system only detect changes in a structure and these changes have to be compared and analyzed? Or can the system also measure forces on a defined structure?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a comparative model. That means we have an initial state and we make a comparison with the scan we do in real time. But of course, when we know the material characteristic, we can make a parallelism between the delta on our scan and the real measurement force. So, for example, we are currently working on detect forces on impact. So in this case, with impact, we can detect in Newton or in Joule the force, the impact force that make the damage. To do that, we need to make to have a join between compared scan and the measurement. So it's possible, of course, and we work on that on different use cases, but it's not a direct measurement; it's indirect measurement.
Okay, thank you. We have again another question. Has the system been applied to track assets such as the rail?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure to understand the question.
Maybe
It's a question from Lauren Smith. If you could precise, please. The track itself.
Yeah. We have a solution to monitor the track itself directly, like the rail. This solution it's possible, like I explained before. We have a solution to monitor every rail on the country in real time and see if there is any damage or deformation on the rail directly, and have one screen with all the rail from the country and detect in real time if there is any problem. We have this product currently on Touch Sensity, but I can't give you more information because we are currently working on the patent. But I will be happy to discuss with NDA with you and show you how we can do that. With a very cheap technology. Objective is not to put the technology on every ray on the country because it will be very expensive to do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So if you want to speak to Mehdi, feel free to contact him after this webinar. I don't think we have more questions.
Not at the moment. But we have the big advantage today that we have plenty of time for your questions. If you have additional ones, please do not try to use the chat again. After the second presentation, maybe we have another time to answer them, or Mehdi is answering this question directly by responding to your chat entry. And Mehdi, thank you very much also from my side for your very interesting presentation. And I had also a lot of questions, so I typed in. And Amelie, thank you for the good moderation of the first presentation. Coming now to our second presentation is Jochen Treitel from Attensys.io. Attensys is a part of the cluster Transport, Mobility and Logistics in the German capital region. The topic is real time, real awesome, live occupancy information in real time. That means it's not the body shell, it is the interior topic. And I'd like to introduce Jochen Treitel to you very briefly. He has an extensive business career spanning over 35 years in various business areas. For instance, real estate, business consulting, startup coach. He is responsible for all commercial topics in Attensys. Jochen, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. And thanks for having me on this illustrious platform. I'd like to share my screen. Oops. And I hope everyone can see it.
Yes, perfect.
So just to introduce Attensys a little bit, we're not a real startup anymore since we've been on the road for 8-9 years now. We've been inaugurated in February 2017, but we started in actually late 2015. And listening to Lutz Hübner, thank you for the introduction. You can tell we are not also real startup people because, I'm 60 years old, so not the typical startup person. And the core team has something like 200 years of life on the clock and more than 120 years of business experience. But we are new to the market. Activity fields, we have the Attensys Seat Informer for transportation. We have the Smart Bed for healthcare. We have the Attensys Smart Building for property management. So we are actually using our sensor technology in a wide array of fields. We were happy to be one of the Deutsche Bahn Mindbox Challenge winners with our solution, and I'll get to this in a minute. And yes, of course, as always today, there is a patent, and you might wonder, why has a German company a Danish patent? A very simple answer to that question. My partner is Danish, and it's way easier to actually have this achieved in Denmark than in Germany. And our current project actually covers the UK, Germany, Denmark, and India. So we're in the 21st century, and we have lots of smart solutions to really monitor things and get more and more information about what's going on outside the train, just as we heard from my predecessor. But what about the question, what's going on inside the train? And there have been literally no sensor solution dealing with the following questions. Where are the empty seats? That's not only interesting to the passengers, but also for the operators, knowing how many seats are actually occupied, because that would lead to the question, how many trains and cars do I need, when and where? So what about fleet planning? And of course, covering the topic of today, when do we need to clean or change seats? And not long ago, we also had the question, how can I control social distancing? And let's be honest, most likely it won't be the last time that we have to face something like this, where actually the answer to this question will be a vital point. We have invented the Attensys Seat Informer. Why do we call it Informer? Because everyone talks about big data, but big data to us is just an ocean of data, unstructured, and you can easily drown in this ocean. So we have made the attempt to actually pre-structure, pre-evaluate this data into information that is decision relevant and decision ready. And the result is that you get live occupancy data for your fleet planning, you get live data for seat reservation, you get the life cycle data for maintenance, and you can even get a live vandalism alert related to the seat cushion. And what all that means is we add actual revenue to the seat. So how do we do it? We let seats talk about operations, about maintenance, and about security. So in operations, we can actually tell, is the seat occupied with an adult or a child? Of course, we would need to understand and agree on what is a child, what is an adult. For example, my boys at the age of 16 were 80 kilos heavy, and the lady from Asia might be 40 kilos heavy. So we need to define on that. Small or large bag, wet, and damaged. Maintenance, it's the first time that you get life cycle data from a seat. And I come to the seat in a minute. So we can tell which seat has been occupied with what, when, and for how long. You can easily picture that the wear and tear of a seat is different, whether it's 100 times a heavy person, just like Bud Spencer, or 100 times just like a small lady clutch. The wear and tear is way different. And that of course fuels also predictive maintenance, because for the first time you have a real-time database for the precise refurbishment and cleaning planning. And we can also supply information about security. Immediate vandalism detection, as I said before, related to the cushion. And many people say, yes, but we do have a CCTV system. And I always reply, yes, and I have a jacket just covering my hand and the knife. So not even an AI camera can detect any movement under a jacket if there's a knife in it or a screwdriver or whatever. As long as there's power, we can detect peoples or objects on the seat outside business hours. And we can also detect objects under the seat with a certain kind of sensor combination. So that serves lost and found, and of course the unwanted leftovers, if you know what I mean. So some suspicious objects. That's the variety we can cover. The last line, of course, CCTV integrated is not the point that we talk about today, because that's our AI camera that we integrate in our system. With this different kinds of sensors and the placement, we can cover empty, person, object, vandalism, liquid in seats, and then of course with the cameras, the other parts like embarking, disembarking cameras, luggage, bikes, etc. We can also detect wheelchairs, for example. And there is a must-have in the United Kingdom where actually operators can be charged with a penalty if they don't supply sufficient information or sufficient space for wheelchairs. And many times those wheelchair spaces are occupied either with people or just with luggage. So we can detect all this and all this without a camera. So how does it work? We have several samples. We go back to our legacy product. That's how we started. We have a capacitance sensor pad that lies on top of the foam. And this capacitance sensor actually does the detection of a change in capacitance. Now, capacitance, just to go to the second part, it's actually on the node box. The difference in dielectric constant of air, body, plastic, and metal enables us to categorize. So the different values that come out of the passive sensor, the sensor pad, gives us a clear picture of the so-called disturbance rate of an electric field. Just picture throwing a small stone into a pond or a large stone. And just to answer that question, it's not about weight, but it's about physical mass and the loading of that mass that we actually collect as data and transform into the information as to which category it falls into. The sensor pad is made out of conductive fabric. We have put a fire retardant fabric on top for easier processing during the integration, and also to eliminate any kind of fire hazard during the fire certificate in Europe or in the UK. You see a little cable. That cable connects actually the sensor pad to the node box. This is only an example size. It's smaller than a matchbox, and it can be adapted to almost any size, because it's up to the customer to decide where to put this node box. So it normally sits somewhere in the seat structure and serves 2 seats at a time, or 1 single seat, for example, in first class. It can serve up to 4 seats. Just picture a coach situation or club seating situation where you have 4 seats back to back. So we could actually have one node serving 4 seats. And from there, we preferably transfer our data wirelessly to a node box, to a gateway, where our software sits that then either transfers this to the passenger information system or any kind of onboard operator system, or we transfer it to the land side into the cloud, our own cloud, from where the customer can actually take it by microtranscriptions. as I said, we're turning data into information. So the data goes from the sensor seat solution through our software, and then anywhere the customer would like to have it, which is either the business intelligence system, or he can shuffle it on to passengers. We don't supply the apps because so many operators have their own apps. Think about Deutsche Bahn or the Austrian Railway. So we don't do this, but of course the data structure is so simple that you can easily feed any kind of those apps. That's, for example, a business intelligence system that we can provide in the cloud. You can see this is in rapid time, the changes of occupancy in an S-Bahn train on the top left, and then below any kind of charge and measurements that you want to have. So all the BI nerds can actually be made happy because this information can be displayed and collected in many, many ways. And this is all in real time during our, or in one of the projects in the UK, we have just been informed that from the moment that an occupancy change has been initiated, for example, someone stands up or someone sits down, this information goes outside the train to Italy, to the PIS supplier, and then back into the train, into their PIS system, and that takes roughly 3 seconds. Excuse me. So that's pretty fast. And you can have it actually per seat, per vehicle, whether it's a train or a bus or a plane, and you can have it per minute, per hour, per month, per cycle. This is completely up to the operator to decide when to have it, how many times, and where to put the information. Yes, the world in apps only shows the variety where this information can be used in real time. And of course, we're looking at maintenance. So this app, as an example app, shows what we can actually tell the maintenance people. And there's a big variety of information that maintenance people were actually fancy about, talking about the benefits. We have talked to maintenance people from Siemens, Bombardier, Alstom, and the likes, and they all told us about similar problems. For example, in the UK, they have problems in following up with a sequence of incoming train because they would not come in track 1 through 10 into the depot for the regular stopover, but they would come in erratically depending on other conditions. So sometimes they simply would lose track. When did the train arrive? Has the maintenance crew been on there? It sounds like a silly thing, but this is real life. So we could tell them, hey, we know when people have been on there, and we know when the seats have been cleaned, and we know how long it has been cleaned, because they normally use a steam cleaner during their regular stopover cleaning. And we can see, has the seat been touched with a steam cleaner? Because we can detect liquid spills, we can detect humidity or moist down by 10 millimeters. So that also feeds the quality assurance, because we heard a story where someone said, yeah, I sometimes wonder why the cleaning crew has been so fast. And we replied, yeah, maybe they just skipped a coach or two. So this is something that they would like to have. But of course, also to, in general, make sure this train has been cleaned and is ready to go out, at least from the interior point of view. Predictive maintenance. If you have a life cycle data, as I said before, and you know which seat has been occupied with what for how long, you can actually give this information to the seat specialist at any depot, because they know about the wear and tear of a particular foam, a particular cover layer, whether it's e-leather or real leather or fabric. They know about the wear and tear. And imagine you have this crazy amount of information about every single seat. For example, every 10 seconds you get an update about the status. That's a huge base for information, and you can make an easy ABC analysis and set your own thresholds. We don't do this. We don't tell anyone how to run the trains, but the expert can easily tell, okay, beyond a certain threshold, that seat needs to be maintained, needs to be exchanged. Below a certain threshold, that seat doesn't need to be cleaned or doesn't need to be repaired or changed. And in between, this is where people have actually to go onto the train and have a look at it. And this is very similar to what the gentleman before me said about the advantages of his solution. We bring people closer to their object of interest. So sometimes you have to do educated guessing. Right now you can stop guessing because you know you don't get data, but you get information, and this is real-time based. Selective refurbishment, this is where we actually come to saving money, really saving money. Because normally, based on our information, excuse me, the average exchange period is about 6, 7, 8 years, after which all seats, or at least all cushions, go to refurbishment. So the foam is scraped up, the cover layer is being dumped, and then the whole thing starts again, and you have to replace it. Why replace something? Why repair something that doesn't need to be repaired, that doesn't need to be exchanged? And they actually think about a savings of in between 12 and 15% during each cycle. This is substantial money when you think, for example, the fleet that we have just renovated, the operator has a fleet of 35,000 seats. If you save 12 to 15% out of 35,000 seats and can extend that period by not exchanging it, and to start with by regular cleaning and do something before it actually goes beyond the point of no return, that is actually the saving part. It saves you time and money and actually facilitates the processes because it gives you precise information about what to do and where to do, whether you need a special cleaning, for example, during a cycle when someone has spilled his morning coffee. You can enable the operator to immediately take the seat from any kind of reservation. You can give the immediate information to the maintenance crew, unless the maintenance crew is already in the loop, so that they know, okay, next time that comes in, we need to go to seat 15 in coach 7 because there was liquid spills, and give it a special treatment. All this, of course, does not only save immediate time and money, it also supports passenger satisfaction, because no one, and I know what I'm talking about because I experienced this, no one likes to sit on a wet seat. So there's ample opportunity to use this data. When we talk about maintenance today, these are the big points about maintenance when you use our Attensys Seat Informer, and you can take from the information that it's actually an informer because it informs you about the well-being of the main revenue maker on passenger trains, which is the seat. Of course, we don't talk about underground and S-Bahn, like in Germany, because there is no seat reservation. And the seat to standing space ratio is way different. But of course, you can also use this for the wear and tear, for the selective refurbishment. So there's ample possibilities for that solution. And in the end, you refurbish smarter and not harder. These are the use cases. So we go into trains, and as I said, trams, subway. We go, of course, into buses. That is the same thing. Believe it or not, we've been invited to actually make a proof of concept for a major aircraft manufacturer, and we are currently in a little prototype testing in minibuses in South Africa. This is the main means of transportation. 70% of South Africans use a minibus every day. Picture those 12 to 19 seaters that run around because they don't have any other public transport. Yes, German built, Danish design. That's what I said before. Thank you very much for your attention, and I am open for questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jochen, for this interesting presentation. For sure, we have some questions, and I will share my screen again. Take this one here. And the first question is, how did Attensys get the idea for the seat informer?
Yeah, as I briefly scratch actually personal information, my partner and I were traveling through Germany to actually sell one of our first products, which has to do with real estate, one of my former businesses, to my old network. And one of these days, it was in April 2016, we found ourselves on a platform in southwestern Germany after a storm, one of those Easter storms had knocked down. So we've given more than you to Deutsche Bahn. And we found ourselves with 500 people on the platform, all wanting to get onto this train. And I thought by myself, oh, wouldn't that be nice actually to have an app where you can see the empty seats in real time and be able to make a short-term reservation. So we boxed ourselves into the train, and we're lucky to found 2 seats. One was wet, that was mine, and the other one was broken, that was. And while I was sitting in the next 6 hours, complaining about how can maintenance be so bad that you don't see this, my partner stepped out in Berlin with a smile on his face and says, I have an idea. And through some contacts that we had to Bombardier about that time, we managed to, within 10 months, actually get a contract, a development contract to form an industry-ready prototype. And that was the beginning.
Yeah, so simple. How long did it take to convince the market of this new solution?
Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit. We were looked at as being, the pink cow on the lawn, because, as I said before, there are so many smart inventions for predictive maintenance, for condition-based maintenance, but nobody thought about, hey, let that seat talk, and how can we use a smart seat using this? So we had to go through the whole food chain, from seat suppliers to train manufacturers to PIS suppliers up to operators, back and down, up and down. And it took us from, after Bombardier unfortunately left the business, from 2017 until 2020, until we first got hooked up to a project where people said, we are looking for a seat occupancy detection that can do more than just empty in person. So 3 years, and then the ongoing years to actually realize it.
So yeah, Bombardier is still building planes. Maybe there will be a chance to enter this market too. And a third question is a very short one, only 3 words, cost per seat.
Yeah, that depends. Not because I wouldn't disclose it, but it actually depends what kind of solution you're using. And are you looking for the cost to buy it from us, or the total cost of ownership to integrate such a system onto your trains? For example, the wired solution is way more costly than the wireless solution, since you have to put in the respective cables onto your train, which is weight, point of failures during integration and operation, and sheer costs. Then it's the question, do you want the cloud solution so that we are the ones to shuffle it onto our cloud and you subscribe to the microservice? How many categories do you want to use? That depends, or that actually has an effect on whether we have a single layer or a double layer sensor. So there are many things. And I'll always reply with a question, how much would you be willing, compared to the revenue per seat, to have this well of information? And since we are talking in modern times about hardware as a service or software as a service, we offer a license fee based thing that actually starts at about 3.5 cents per seat per day over a certain period of time. That depends on how long the refurbishment cycle with the respective operator is.
Yeah. Then I type in an additional question, and I have it already in mind. When informing passengers, which end gadgets do you use? Do you only have the connection to apps, or is it on the operator on which gadgets or on which devices he or she wants to display this information?
We simply stay out of the business to interact directly with passengers, because that would put our small company into the mayhem of data privacy and all that. Normally operators would not love to have direct contact with passengers, because that's their way of communicating and also make extra money. So we shuffle the information to the operator, or as I said, the operator picks it from the cloud, and then the operator decides where to put the information.
All right. Yeah, any more questions? So if one of you has one question, don't be shy to raise the hand, open the micro, and indicate the question directly.
One of the questions that we most of the time get is, so how many times do we update, and do you have a battery solution and an ad? Yes, we have a battery solution, which is actually also our preferred solution. The battery that we use lasts of about 8 years, 7 to 8 years, with an update rate of 10 seconds, each 10 seconds. And that does not mean that we send information every 10 seconds. We only send information once the status has changed. So in between, we use a so-called hibernation mode. So that's actually a part of the low power consumption. And if I'm right, is 86 microamps that we use. So this is next to nothing. So every 10 seconds, this node wakes up, looks if a different state is being reported from the sensor pad. If not, it goes back to hibernation. If yes, it actually pushes this message through the wireless network to the gateway. And then the normal routine starts that this information is processed to wherever the operator wants.
No, thank you very much for this additional information, but it doesn't help to gather new questions from the chat. And we still have plenty of time for your questions. For sure, if you have something, please type it into the chat. We will react on this. So it takes me to
I have another info. Sorry, I have one other info, which is interesting for operators. People ask about, so what is the integration time for this? Because it's an add-on, and add-on means time next to the purchase. To actually put the sensor pad, this solution, we have different solution where actually the sensor is placed elsewhere. If we go with our legacy project, the integration during the build-up of a cushion is about 30 seconds because it's spray glued. And a trained person, and we have seen this with all the projects that we have been with, it's about 30 seconds to spray glue and apply the sensor pad to the cushion. And then the rest is connect the cable from the node box to a little PCB that hangs from the sensor pad. So all in all, that's something like 40 seconds additional time per seat, which is also next to nothing.
All right. So thank you very much again for this information, for the interesting presentation. And to all of you, for sure, we will provide you with a follow-up email providing all the available information. That means the 2 PDFs of the presentation, also the PDF of the general presentation, then also the link to the recording of the webinar within the next few days. Amelie will now assist me to put some information into the chat, some links that you can see on the next slides. And first, we kindly ask you to fill in a very short feedback questionnaire. And the main question we have is if you are interested to present your innovative solution in one of our next ERCI webinars, or do you have some proposals for topics for future ERCI webinars? So please let us know. Then I mentioned the recording of the webinar from the former STARS project. We still have available a YouTube web channel, and we will put or upload all these recent recordings to this YouTube channel so that you have the chance also to watch the video after the webinar. So it takes me already to announce to you the next ERCI webinar. It will take place just before the summer break in 4 weeks on the 9th of July. The general topic is towards a cleaner rail, is on decarbonization. Two speakers are already fixed. They will have a joint presentation, and a second presentation is under investigation. I will ask all the ERCI cluster managers if they have some ideas, but you can already register to this webinar, which will take place in 4 weeks. So some events I want to announce. The ERCI Innovation Awards I already mentioned at the beginning. On the left side, you see the video from the last awarding ceremony during the InnoTrans in 2024. And the next one will be in Milan. If you have the chance to visit the Expo Ferroviaria this year, on the 30th of September, you are very welcome at the DTech Fair booth to watch or to participate or to attend, better to say, the awarding ceremony of the ERCI Innovation Awards. We are now in the phase that all applications are collected and will be distributed to the jury members, and they have some weeks' time to evaluate them. And we are very excited of who are the winners of Best SME, of Best Large Enterprise, and who is the winner of the Coup de Coeur Special Prize of the jury. So, another big project ERCI is organizing and planning right now. It's the ERCI mission to Canada, and the focus is the Quebec region. It will take place in September from 8th to 12th September. The agenda is in preparation. Some meetings are already booked. And we have also already 6 interested companies to join our business session, but there are still some places free. So if you are interested in the Canadian market, you can grab some additional information on that on the ERCI webpage. And if you decide to register, you might find the registration link as well at the ERCI website. So, some further events with participation of at least one ERCI member cluster, and for sure also of ERCI as a whole. The Real Life 2025 event in Long Marston in Warwickshire in United Kingdom by mid of June. That means in 1 week. Also in 1 week, Eurasia Rail in Istanbul. Then in 2 weeks, we have the Seafair Trade Fair show in Lille in France, north of France, from 24th to 26th of June. We have the Railway Forum in Berlin, but beginning of September 2025. The competence partner is Deutsche Bahn. It is a big supplier event, mainly of Deutsche Bahn, and a good possibility to connect each other. Then we have the Trapo fair in Poland, in Gdansk, from 23rd to 26th September. And also some of the ERCI clusters are present there. And as already mentioned, in connection with the awarding ceremony of the ERCI Innovation Awards, the Expo Ferroviaria in Milan by end of September and beginning of October. You can find all this information also on the ERCI webpage. If you follow the category of events, you will find all this information there. Yeah, coming back to the Seafair, there is a connecting event organized mainly by the Enterprise Europe Network and with collaboration of CCI International Hauts-de-France, ETROS, and the European Digital Innovation Hub Hauts-de-France. It is the International Railway Brokerage Event 2025. It is a completely physical event. That means you must be in Lille during the Seafair, and the brokerage event will take place on the first 2 days, on the 24th and 25th of June. There is a registration link. There is a B2Match platform where you can establish a short profile to make you interesting for other participants of this profile, and you are able to book or to pre-book physical meetings that you will have during the CFAIR. Yeah, funding opportunities, some very short information on ongoing ESA calls. There are still 2 open ESA calls connecting with the railway topics. It's the Space for Intermodal Transport call on one hand, and the Space for Rail call on the other hand. If you are interested to take part or have something in mind that could be suited to one of these calls, please let us informed so that we have a chance to connect you maybe with some already ongoing activities or advise you to do something in this topic. The second one, now the end versions of the Horizon Europe Work Program 2025 are published by the European Commission. There are different clusters, including the cluster 5, climate, energy and mobility. You will find all this information on the website of the European Commission, and the link you will find in the chat. So, yeah, some projects I want to mention. 2 of them are quite interesting on the ERCI perspective. The one is that project that is coordinated by ERCI itself. It is the LEADER 2030 project, and LEADER 2030 is to suggest measures that contribute to strengthening the resilience of European supply chains for raw materials for the railway sector. It will come to an end in December 2025. The final event will be by the end of October, and project views are available on the project website for sure, on the project LinkedIn account. And if you are interested, for sure you can register to the project newsletter as well. We have a very small project, 4 project partners beside ERCI. It is the French Rail Research Center Relanium, which is strongly connected with ETROLS, our French ERCI member cluster. Other partners are Technopark Istanbul and the Geocompetence Center in Freiberg in Saxony in Germany. Yeah, contact person is Guido Ancarani from DTech Fair. And not forget to mention it is a project funded by Europe's Rail. So the second one is the project Idealist with some more partners and including DTech Fair as one of the ERCI member clusters, which is partner of this project. It is to empower small, medium-sized enterprises in tackling supply chains disruptions and boosting advanced technologies uptake in 3 industrial ecosystems. For sure, also mobility, transport, and automotive, including the railway sector. Second sector is aerospace and defense, and the energy-intensive industries. The project news you can grab from the website, from the LinkedIn account, and also from one newsletter. You can subscribe. And one event of the Idealist project is the second Hack and Match event. There will be in total 5 Hack and Match events, all on advanced technologies. And the focus on the second Hack and Match event is AI for the digital and physical worlds. And the scheme of Hack and Match events are always the same. First is a call for challenges. It's done for this event already. Second is the call for solutions is already done, also done already for this special Hack and Match event. And in a week, we will have 2 virtual days with some teams. That means a combination of the challenge provider and solution provider in order to work on certain challenges to find some paths how to solve them, and the result will be 2 short deliverables, 1 Word file and 1 short presentation. After that, there will be a jury of experts evaluating 2 winners determining 2 winners and 1 winner and 1 coup de cœur prize. As I mentioned, 3 further Hack and Match events will be organized, always on advanced technologies, until the end of the project, which is in November 2026. So, yes, that is nearly the end of the webinar, and I'm still observing the chat. No further questions are in the chat, so I announce it again, the ERCI webinar in 4 weeks towards a cleaner rail. And the registration link is available in the chat. You can immediately register to this webinar too. And please do it only after answering our short feedback questionnaire. And thank you very much for your attention, and maybe see you in 4 weeks. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.